Welcome everybody to this episode of Fake's Top 5. In this week's episode, we're looking at my top 5 Battlefield 4 dream features. Getting right into it, at number 5 is a Spectator Mode or Battle Recorder. Now, just off the top of my head, the earliest mainstream game I can think of that had an in-game recorder was Halo 3. Now, we're talking about an Xbox 360 launch title. And in Battlefield 3, here we are with one of the last mainstream games to appear on the 360, and it doesn't have a spectator mode or a replay feature. Over the last year and a half, there have been many continuous cries from the community for some sort of in-game match recorder or at the very least, a spectator mode. Anyone who posts videos to YouTube has missed recording at least one epic kill, awesome comeback, beast kill streak, or hilarious moment because they weren't recording. Not only that, but montage and cinematic creators would gain unbelievable tools to make even better videos. It needs to happen. The only reason it isn't higher on this list is because the Frostbite 2 engine was brand new, and it's possible they didn't have enough time to work out the kinks. Moving on to number 4, a more dynamic create-a-class system. Every game seems to have its own version of a create-a-class system with different levels of customization of your character, weapon, emblem, and so on. However, this is an area for improvement in most games, and BF3 was no exception. In Battlefield 4, I'd like to see more in-depth customization across the board. Let me choose my entire loadout right down to the color of the tint on my goggles. This type of customization is usually filled with trade-offs for other features in the game to save memory, but we're moving into a new generation of consoles, so let's push the envelope. Another way the loadout system needs to be updated is by making people sacrifice in one area for the benefits in another. Right now, there's no penalty for using a scope or a sight, nor is there any benefit to using the iron sights. I'd like to see the weapon loadout be a little give and take, and in my opinion, Black Ops 2 Pick 10 system is onto something. Moving into number 3, I want to see better DLC rollout and integration. It's not a surprise to anybody that BF3 is running a little stale for most players right about now. Even just weeks after the final DLC expansion, the battlefield is as redundant as ever. What I'd like to see DICE do is compact the DLC schedule a little bit. Even though the game takes 2 years to develop, why not plan on packing everything into a single year and making it a non-stop barrage of new and interesting content for that year? Then when the content dries up, Battlefield 4 can just slip away into the history books as one of the most intense FPS experiences of all time. Getting into my number 2 Battlefield 4 dream feature is more game modes. Battlefield 3 is a great game, however the number of game modes was clearly lacking. Now, if this is a Battlefield thing and there have only ever been Rush, Conquest, and TDM, that's fine, but it's time for Battlefield to step up in this department. We need to see everything from free-for-all to King of the Hill to search and destroy. At the very least, these core game modes that are in every other game would serve as refreshing ways to group up and play or jump in solo. Also, they need to not keep these game modes hostage with DLC packs. They need to get them out in the beginning and get people playing. Now, moving on to my number 1 Battlefield 4 dream feature is Dinosaur Mode. This technically falls into the previous category since it's a new game mode. Regardless, there's no way DICE can pay any more fan service than to put in a well-executed Dinosaur Mode. Every other rumor during every patch and in every single conversation about what fans want in Battlefield 3, the topic of dinosaurs comes up. We've been teased in every expansion with dinosaur skulls and dinosaur dog tag. Even though dinosaurs may not tie into the story in any way, zombies didn't tie into Call of Duty either. But they still managed to design a great fun game mode that is arguably just as popular as the main multiplayer. I'm thinking that a Dino Horde mode and a man versus dinos with player-controlled dinos would be simply awesome. Imagine running from a T-Rex in a Jeep or dogfighting a pterodactyl in a jet. So guys, I'd love to know what you think of my list. If I missed anything, leave me a comment down below. Also, I'd like to know what your number 1 feature is, so hit me with a comment in the comment section. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video.